And it's time for the Rick Crawford Show with the All-American cultural icon, Rick Crawford. We head to the hotline. Rick, top of the morning to you.
That's a fitting song for our show. I mean, that was pretty good there, Mike.
It is what we do every Tuesday, if you don't know, Rick, we do TMD iPod Tuesday. We pull songs out of our iPods. Well, today, our theme was TV theme songs. And this is one of Pistol Pete's.
Yeah, but I had no ulterior motive there, Rick. I hope you don't take it personally.
Oh, I tell you, when I want to laugh, it's still a rerun on sometimes, and it's still funny, and it's down to earth the way people act sometimes. So it's a pretty good show.
Great show. How have you been, Rick? We haven't had a chance to talk to you in a while. Everything well in your world?
Yeah, I apologize to all my loyal listeners out there, and we have a few that I wasn't with you last Tuesday, and had a little emergency dental appointment, and so I got that taken care of. I feel a lot better now.
Good to hear. Lots going on in the sport as always, and Saturday night we've been talking here. Matt Kenseth going to victory lane, and anyone that didn't see this coming wasn't paying attention, putting in a pretty much a typical Matt Kenseth year so far, Rick.
I'm talking about just went out there and won the race. I mean, I like to see people race hard all night, work on their cars, and do the right thing. And I mean, he just went out there and won the race, beat Kyle Busch, and you know, the hit was taken by Jimmy Johnson. I mean, he, not only in the points, but turn two wall. But at the same time, if he can't rebound this weekend at Talladega, the line's jumping under him right now. So it's like as I feel. If he can't rebound this weekend at Talladega, it's probably over for the 48. We'll have a new champ in 5 years.
Now, again, I have a hard time, and I'm sure you do as well, completely dismissing Jimmy Johnson. If anyone else were 35 points back at this point, I would say they're done. But I'm not ready to do that yet, Rick, although I do agree Talladega.
No, I'm not ready to do that yet either.
Yeah.
But, we all know anything can happen at Talladega. And look, we go, anything can happen at Martinsville. Martinsville is one of them things that takes a toll on equipment. You can get caught up in something that doesn't have to necessarily be yours. But we all know what happened to Jimmy Johnson last year at Texas. And, that's when the crew got fired. We switched crews, did this, did that, and not a very good day there, not a very good morale scene in Texas last year.
One of the things that we notice about the chase, you may get away with one mistake. But two mistakes, that seals the fate right there. As a race car driver, working under that pressure and under those conditions, what's it like being in a situation where you can't make a mistake? I mean, we're all human and we all do it, but there's so much riding on the line these days for these guys.
It sure is. There's a lot of pressure out there. Teams, crews, drivers, people back at the shop, trying, no runs, no drifts, no errors, and it's just tough, and especially on the drivers. The driver's trying to make up every ounce of real estate he can and every second he can. And we're all human, and we all make mistakes, but you're all trying your best. And you can tell. I mean, you can tell when a race starts, a green flag drops. Hey, folks, these guys are serious about this chase. These guys are serious about getting their points, and they are racing door handle to door handle. And that's what happened between Jimmy Johnson and Ryan Newman. I don't think it was any fault of anybody's, and it was just hard racing. He went down in the corner, lost the back of the car just a little bit because of another car behind him, and it was just racing hard, and that's what's going to happen the harder you race.
The speeds, too, over the weekend were really, really quick, and we were seeing speeds. They were going down to the third turn, Rick, and I was seeing 201 on some of the in-car. I mean, just flying around Charlotte Motor Speedway Saturday night. We
have got some power, folks. We have got some power. You can tell by one thing you can listen to sometimes, our listeners, when you listen to in-car cameras and things like that, listen to the distance a guy's off the throttle. And that tells you how hard he's actually entering the corner. And the longer he's off the throttle, he's waiting on the grip to get back into the tires. So that just tells you the power these things have under the hood, getting them down the straightaway. And so, just like qualifying on pole night, Thursday night, Tony Stewart, he wasn't out the gas very long. Let me tell you, he was on the throttle, hanging on to that thing, and that's the reason he was on the pole. But at the same time, look at it during the race. These guys are racing 500 miles, and all of a sudden you hear toward the end of the race, that's the fastest lap of the race. They're on it. They're on it from the first lap to the last lap.
When you go that fast at these ovals, obviously things happen in a hurry, but can you Can you detect the sensation of speed inside the cockpit there?
Oh, absolutely. Look out the window. I mean, usually not looking ahead as far as you look ahead and things like that. It's like riding a bicycle inside your garage. There is a sense of speed. Talladega is one of the places. Daytona is one of the places. Charlotte. I mean, we can go to all the racetracks, and all really a race car driver's got to do is look like if he's riding by itself or something. Just take peripheral vision and look off to the right at the wall, how fast it's going by the fence or whatever. I mean, it make light poles look like a picket fence. I mean, it is something. I mean, it is something. It's fast, and it is what I'd call an attention getter. So it really gets your attention as fast as you're going. And yes, there is a sensation of being fast, especially when you change directions. And I'm talking about when you go sideways or something like that. That's just like when Jimmy Johnson hit turn 2 wall the other night, and you looked at his car and the wheels stopped about 10 feet before it got to the wall. They didn't do any good at all for him to put on the brakes. But he had the brakes on, but that car had the momentum to go ahead and do the damage. And that's one of those things where we thank NASCAR, we thank all the inventors of the safer barrier, the cushioning degree that we have in the walls now and everything. That thing absorbed a lot of energy when that car hit that wall.
Talking with Rick Crawford on the Rick Crawford Show. Rick, let's change our focus and let's talk about Talladega. There's a lot that I want to pick your brain about. First of all, you talk about getting your attention. 3 wide, 4 wide at Talladega definitely could do that. That's something, no doubt, that we'll see over the course of the weekend. But let's start first by talking about the draft. The trucks punch a huge hole in the air. You can be 10 truck lengths behind coming off turn 2 and make the pass for the lead, or the position in front of you coming off turn 4. When you're behind a truck by 10 or 15 truck lengths at Dega, what is the sensation? What do you hear? What do you feel when you get sucked into the draft in front of you?
It's a neat feeling to be able to. That means your cow's right. And I'm calling that, folks, for the air intakes into the carburetor. It's actually giving the carburetor the most efficient air going under the hood. At the same time, when you get in the draft behind a vehicle in front of you, say 10 car lengths, you'll start your vehicle will start to free up a little bit. It'll start to want to catch that vehicle in front of you, and actually you can notice your tack. Notice your tack on the dash. It'll pick up 200, 300, 400 RPM just by being in that draft. And that thing will start running. It'll get it up in the RPM range of that engine. The engine will start sounding good, sounding better. And I'm telling you, to lose the draft and say you're out there practicing or something, and say you're in the draft, and all of a sudden you want to pull out to come in the pits down the back straightaway, get down on the apron to come in the pits. It almost seems like something's wrong. When you get out of the draft, it's like your vehicle slows down so dramatically, and you're still on the throttle, but you're sort of getting out of everybody's way, and you just don't let off the gas, but you get out of the air. It almost feels like something's wrong, like you lost a cylinder, or you run out of gas, or anything can go on. It's like, man, maybe I should have stayed out another lap or something, because I really sense something's wrong here, but actually nothing is wrong. You just got out of the air, and you just got out of the wind.
When you first started doing this, when you first started racing at a place like Talladega or Daytona, Rick, how long did it take you to get your arms around this, or do you ever get your arms around this kind of racing?
Pete, I did a lot of studying on this, and I did a lot of watching. I was observant. When I went to the races on super speedways, I watched how other people did it. It's just like going and driving a vehicle, a race vehicle that you've never driven before. And they say, well, all right, bring your helmet and your suit and come on, get in. Well, you watched that vehicle run at say, that particular racetrack before, or the team that's been working on it. And when you got there, you felt comfortable with it. And when the first time I went to Daytona, the first time I tested Talladega, I felt comfortable with that. I knew what I was looking for. And every lap is a learning experience. And if I went there this weekend, and I wish I was, and I would take a Martinsville truck and go to Talladega, because I think I could get in a draft with it and at least use the chess match to get up toward the front. But at the same time, it's like you feel comfortable with it. You know what you're looking for, and at the same time, it allows you to learn something each and every lap that you make on the racetrack.
Well, I ask you this next question because in my mind you're one of the masters that can answer it and answer it very well because you've been in this situation. As the laps click off, you're trying to get in position. More times than not in these truck races at these restrictor plate tracks, we'll see everybody huddled up to the bottom of the racetrack, and then all of a sudden the time comes when it's time to make the move. You drop the hammer in your move going into turn one on the white flag lap at Daytona years ago. Is there a textbook pass to be made at restrictor plate races? I mean, is there a magic position to be in, or is there a magic scenario in your mind that you can do this at this certain time with somewhat of a predictable outcome?
I believe so, Mike. It's called, knowing how your vehicle's been running all day during the day, and you're testing the guy in front of you. Every lap, you know where you're stronger than he is. You know where you're getting a run. You know what kind of gear you're running. You know where you're handling better at and things like that. So yes, it does tend to like that last lap at Daytona. I'd been running good there all day. I had been running really good through 3 and 4 all day. I've been pulling all the way to the exit of turn 4, then the truck tried to get another run on itself, and that way we were in the draft with Presley. That caused all that. I remember that. Glad I hadn't forgotten about that one. But at the same time, you're testing your vehicle all day among other vehicles, and so you know who you're actually lined up behind. You know where you're better than he is, and that's how you judge your move. But you can't wait too late. You can't go too early because everybody else, you got to think about there's 25 other ones behind you that's thinking the same thing you are. And so you just got to work on that all day. And I tell you what, when you do test things during the day and you find that partner, you probably need to look for that same partner there toward the end because that helps you make that move. You can't just go out there and make it by yourself. Even though it worked out for us at Daytona, there was a lot of things into play with that. But at the same time, it's hard to do anymore because these things are so equal.
Do you size up not only the competition as far as equipment is concerned, but do you also size up the style of driving in a driver or a driver's tendencies?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Every driver's different. And you anticipate things on the racetrack. You anticipate what another driver's fixing to do. You know where he's at. You can look at his helmet sometimes and see that hose on top of his helmet. Look over there in the mirror, and then you know you got his attention. So you maybe mess that up a little bit, make him hear some footsteps coming from somewhere else. There's a lot of things you do, and you always want to hide from people and never let them know what move is what you're planning on doing. And so that's my strategy on speedway racing.
Do you do that at intermediate tracks like a Texas or even a New Hampshire or even a Martinsville? Do you employ those same style of strategies there, or is this restrictor plate or super speedway unique?
Super speedway racing has its own tendencies because you're liable to follow somebody for 30 laps. At a New Hampshire, Texas, maybe Martinsville, things like that. You're going to give them a chance or two real quick here, but we got to go. And it's like you're going to make you move a lot quicker there. And go ahead, step out and make it. If you make it, you're not going to lose too much like you would at Talladega. But you know a calculated estimate on what you need to be doing. So you're going to make that move a lot quicker on a different racetrack than you would Talladega or Daytona.
Anyone in particular you're looking for on Sunday in the Good Slam Club 500, Rick?
I wish Dale Jr. would pull something out in Alabama for his fans up there and get back into this chase. And I think that would be part to put the heartbeat back into NASCAR as far as the fans are concerned. And I just said that because I just feel that way that I think we need more fans watching the races live. And I'm a racetrack promoter, and it's like, come on out. And that's what happens when you root on your favorite driver. That's what brings fans, campers, more appeal. The morale goes up around the racetrack, and I just wish him a lot of luck at Talladega. But getting back to a couple other things, can you believe the damage on Carl Edwards' nationwide car there when he slapped the wall and then came back, won the race? I mean, that race was won by sheer determination of a pit crew and a driver, and that was pretty neat to see that. I was congratulating Carl for doing that. But before our show ends, and I know we're running out of time, but anyway, thoughts and prayers really out to the Dan Wheldon family.